Hello and welcome everyone to the Main Street Matters webinar. My name is Patrick Kaiser. I am the Executive Director of Heart on Main Street. I see you all popping in here. Thank you all so much for joining. Heart on Main Street is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping independent retailers thrive within their communities. This is a monthly webinar series that is really dedicated to providing pertinent information to retailers and retail communities to allow their businesses to grow. We aim to connect you with experts in their fields to allow you to learn from them and get an incredible wealth of knowledge from our presenters. So thank you all so much for attending today. And if you're popping in, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a new format for us. So we have transitioned from using Zoom to Teams. So I apologize if there's a little bit of clunkiness today. It's really just we're learning things. So if you're new here, thank you so much for attending today. I'm really glad that you're able to find out about Heart on Main Street in the webinar education series that we put on. If you're an old friend, welcome back. Thank you very, very much for being here. My guest today is the fabulous Erica Kirkland of GiftBeat. Welcome, Erica. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. If you don't know GiftBeat, Erica's publication is a monthly report of top-selling brands and items over 50 different categories. Over the last 30 years, GiftBeat has been empowering independent retailers and independent retail owners with accurate, honest data to help small businesses thrive within this market. So again, I am very excited to have Erica on here today. We're going to be talking about trends in 2024. This is a topic that I absolutely love. I am always fascinated every time that I go to markets to see what people are buying, what retailers are diving into. So I am really excited to be talking about this topic. First, before we dive in, I wanted to spend a couple minutes to talk about GiftBeat and Erica, how and where you accumulate the data. Because there are some publications that, maybe if you slip them some money, all of a sudden you have a trending product. But that is not GiftBeat. Yes, absolutely. That is not you all. That is not what GiftBeat does. Yeah. So can you talk to us a little bit about how GiftBeat gets its data and where you compile that from?
So I'm going to throw it back to the founder of GiftBeat, who's Joyce Washnick, who came up with this fantastic idea. So she had been covering the gift industry for traditional trade magazines and been receiving press releases from companies and just regurgitating them, not knowing whether or not the items she was writing about were saleable. And she thought there's got to be a better way to give retailers actionable information. So she came up with this concept of having reporting stores across the country. So we have 300 reporting stores across the country. They've obviously changed over the years since 1993. We make sure that they cover at least 75% of the product categories that we cover. They're not affiliated with any vendors. We have multiple reporting stores that have multiple locations, so that spreads our, it's even more than 300. So this is how it works. Every month we ask, so for the December-January issue, or double issue, the survey went out in November. We asked, I think we polled on 16 categories for that issue. And we asked, based on your previous month's sales, what are your top 3 selling vendors? And they can choose from a drop-down or they can add their own company. And the first company they list, so anybody's top selling vendor gets 5 points. If you're a second best-selling vendor, you get 3, 2. It's on the website. The third is 1. So there is a statistically valid, formulation. Now, the vendors love the top 10 lists. So from that, we're able to generate the top 10 best-selling vendors in 50 different categories across the year, because we poll on certain categories at the right time of year, right? So we're polling socks sort of in November and February to get a good judge on what's happening. So I think that covers it, right?
Yeah,
we don't take any ads. We do not take any ads. We will never take any ads. When Joyce was looking to sell the publication, she really shopped it around for a long time. And I had known Joyce coming to the Atlanta market since 2000, had such mad respect for her and what she did, and was so honored to be able to carry on the GiftBeat tradition. And I feel very fortunate that I am the owner of such a prestigious title, and I don't take that lightly.
And I love that. I love that there's a scientific way of doing this, that you're compiling this information over the hundreds of retailers across the country. And one thing I love about GiftBeat is that it's when you do your top 10 list, it's not just top 10 national. It is, you do top 10 and you have the different regions as well, because what is selling well in the Southeast might not be what's selling well in the West, and really being able to hone in on that and see information from across the country in different parts of the
Yeah.
country.
So we haven't been doing regional lately, but we're going to bring it
Okay.
back because
Okay. Good.
I've at market, I heard that people want it back, and we have the data. It's very easy to slice and dice. But to be honest, with regional, there's only certain categories where we see a big difference. You know, a lot of the times it's not as unique as you would think. So that's one of the reasons I stopped doing it, because it's so challenging to find differences.
Fair.
But I understand. I hear you. We're bringing it back, and actually, we are adding about 20 new categories.
Oh, wow.
In 2024, and we're adjusting some sort of category. Like we track like mugs and tumblers. Well, that doesn't make sense anymore. Mugs needs to be separate, and then tumblers should be insulated drinkware. You know, so we've never tracked collegiate and game day. So when I was in market in Atlanta, I brainstormed and spitballed with all kinds of vendors and retailers on, you know, what aren't we tracking and how should we track it and how should we cover it. But going back to the charts, I think, you know, hospital shops, florists, people sort of allied to the field really look at the top 10 as, okay, you know, this is a great entry point for me into the market. Like really savvy retailers, they're probably already carrying 1 or 2 items on the top 10 anyway, but they're really going to look at who is in the honorable mentions, who's starting at 10 and then 9 and then moving up the charts. And that's really fun to watch when a new line hits and just resonates automatically, because you can see them almost immediately on the charts, which is fun. But I think retailers probably read GiftBeat, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the content not only on the product side, but on the operational side is directly from store owners. It's not experts. It's 300 retailers saying, this is how we're using Instagram, or this is how we're using e-newsletters, or this is how we want reps to work with us. And it's just such, I love reading the comments every month. It's inspiring. I have mad respect for what independent retailers do, because they're wearing so many different hats. Absolutely. And I just don't know any other profession where an entrepreneur is doing everything from hiring, marketing, buying, merchandising, advertising, vendor relations, accounting, website development, social media. It's like the list runs, right? So
and that's why we're doing these education things, because you cannot be an expert in all of those fields. You just can't. And so any help that we can provide is, I mean, it's so valuable.
And I think Heart on Main Street is the most fantastic organization, and it has been a long time coming. The fact that our industry finally has an organization that's 100% devoted to independent retailers, I think is great. And I think every single vendor in this market should be making a monthly donation to Heart on Main Street. If GiftBeat can afford to do it, then you all top selling vendors, it's a challenge to you. Everybody who makes the top 10 charts, you better be supporting this organization.
Oh man, from your lips to out into the ether. But yeah, thank you very much for that. A quick poll, just while people are jumping in, are retailers here or the communities here? Are you all? You can add in the chat. Are you all subscribers to GiftBeat? Do you know of GiftBeat? Have you read publications before? You can toss those in the chat as we're talking here. But now let's, before we kind of get into, Amber Marie says love it. All right. But what are some of the 50 categories? And I know please don't try and list them all off. That's a ridiculous amount. But what are some of the categories that you all cover, just so our retailers on here know, if I kind of fit into that, or I sell those sort of things, what it might apply to me?
They will sell everything. So we do, like, in general gift, we'll do everything from humor and whimsy to register area to I think I can't remember what those, spa related, plush, baby and children's gifts, kitchen, tabletop, tea towels, mugs and tumblers, everything seasonal, which is really important because we pull on that based on December sales, right? So if you're planning buying in January, it's really great to look at what sold well the previous December. So all seasonal, Easter and spring, Halloween, we do candy and we do gourmet, we do candy, we do fashion accessories, we do apparel, we do t-shirts, we do socks.
Okay, you are naming all 50. All right.
That was just off the top of my head too, wasn't that?
So if you're a retailer out there and if you don't know about GiftBeat and you're like, oh, I sell some of those things that you just listed, GiftBeat, as Deborah Duffick just said, GiftBeat is the Bible of the industry. I love that comment. Thank you, Deborah. But if you sell some of those things, it's great data and great knowledge to understand what is selling really, really well. So understand that you survey, you're in polling stores regarding categories. What categories are stores looking to buy more of? Really kind of what are stores diving into? And
so
maybe on the opposite end too.
Oh yeah, so I'm going to share some information with you all today that has not been shared yet. So you're going to be like the person to hear this, because we're going to be sharing it in the February edition. But we actually did poll our retailers on procurement trends, and we do this every year. So we ask in every single category that we poll, what are you planning to buy more of, the same of, less of, heading into 2024? So when it comes to what retailers are investing more money in 2024, it's all about fashion. All about fashion. 36% are planning to buy more fashion accessories. 36% are planning to buy more jewelry. So these are categories we track, obviously. 34% are planning to buy more earrings, and 30% are planning to buy more purses and bags. And before everyone madly goes to write this down, I'm sending Patrick a PDF with all the data that I talk about and the charts as well. Now, I've added notes because a bunch of stuff came to mind after I created the PDF. And I do want to skip back to that before I go on to what they're buying less of, and just highlight a few fun lines that I found at market in those categories. But then on the flip side, it's really interesting. Stores are really not buying home decor. So we're seeing 56% purchasing fewer pillows and cushions, 52% purchasing less home decor, 51% less wall decor. And then, interestingly enough, 52% purchasing less insulated drinkware, which has become a real standard category in the industry. Yeah, so I'm reading that, and I could ask our store owners to be more specific about that if I wanted to. But my read on that is maybe they're slimming down from like 2 or 3 lines to 1 line, or maybe they're not going as deep as they once were. I mean, there's so many options out there in terms of not only brands to carry, but then the SKUs within the brands. It's like, it's incredible. It's almost overwhelming. Holding steady. So when it comes to what categories retailers are going to plan to hold steady on, candles and personal care top the list at 70%, which makes sense. Good consumable products for return visitors, and followed by wellness at 69%, which also makes a lot of sense. And 64% for greeting cards. So going back up to what being all about fashion, I wanted to point out a couple of lines I saw at market that I really loved. One was a line from Pavilion called Crumble and Core. It's an English brand, and they make these greeting cards, little, like, I don't know, I'm really bad at measurements and math. That's why I went to journalism school. Like 3.5 by 3.5, maybe?
Yeah, sounds right. Yeah.
Beautiful stationary like design on the front, and then the earrings are placed just so, like, within the artwork, not in a standard like spot, but within the artwork, and there's diamond studs, and then inside it's like a blank card. So it combines like everything. It's a giftable, it's earrings, you can send it in the mail. So that was great. Bright Blessings from Periwinkle by Barlow. They've expanded their selection. Great carded line, beautiful messages, beautiful displayer. Candles on the candle line. I don't know why I've not seen these before, but have you all seen the wax reveal candles from Pavilion? So if you burn them, I think it's just 10 minutes, and all of a sudden a scene starts to appear.
Oh, fun.
And then, yeah, fun, right? And then after an hour, the scene is fully visible. So they've really expanded this concept across all kinds of different sentiments and giftables in their line. And it's so innovative. I think it's really, really cool. And then on the purses and bag side, one line that always ranks high in GiftBeat is Chala. And they came out, I think it's the first time they've come out with food designs, because normally they do like nature and animals and stuff like that. So they have donut and cupcake, which was super cute at market.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, that's for procurement trends. Those are sort of the highlights.
And so how are you seeing some of those things change maybe in over the last couple years? I feel like fashion, is there certain parts of the fashion line that are really growing, or?
Well, they didn't touch on apparel, which was interesting. So,
Okay.
because we do track apparel and we do track t-shirts. So they're talking about fashion accessories being, hair accessories, hats, scarves, belts, shoes, purses and bags, earrings, and jewelry. So it's not
Gotcha. Okay.
apparel, which is
Interesting. Yeah. Cause I mean, for a little bit, the athleisure category was, exploding, but that
I
seems like that has, in your opinion, is that slowed down? Is that still?
I think, in fact, I'm going to touch on it later.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, loungewear. We're going to be adding loungewear as a category, because I think it's different than athleisure. But I think loungewear is definitely, here to stay for the gift industry. It's so funny because I can remember, like 15 years ago when people were like, apparel? No one's going to sell apparel in a gift store. What? That's weird. But they were ahead of the market, way ahead of the vendors. The vendors had to play catch up.
And, almost, yeah, a lot of different stores selling a lot of different things now. It's, a gift store is not just, they are selling fashion, they are selling toys. There's a lot more that goes into,
Yes.
really all stores kind of selling
So
all categories.
I think gift is an antiquated term,
Yes.
and that I embrace the term lifestyle
Okay.
retailer.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what a lot of independent retailers are. They're lifestyle retailers. They're selling a certain lifestyle. If they're doing it well, if they're branding themselves well, and they're carrying all the products that sort of go with that brand, then they are celebrating a lifestyle or an aesthetic or whatever. So
Yeah. With the ones that are decreasing, and that you've seen kind of the whole more home decor. Do you know any kind of reason behind that? What kind of the underlying trend there that, I mean, people are kind of
I
looking for more of that
Well,
experience,
it's a
or?
little cyclical. I see this all the time. So we'll have years where they're saying they're going to buy less fashion and more home decor. It just seems to flip. And
Okay.
maybe that's what like consumers are doing. They've kind of felt, for whatever reason, filled up on fashion and apparel, and now they're looking to redecorate their homes, because I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
Okay. I didn't know if you knew of any kind of underlying reasoning for that. Um,
no.
So, whoops, sorry, getting more people coming in. You talked about some of the hotter categories that the stores should be stocking up
Okay.
for.
Yeah. So this is kind of more like not so much based on the procurement trends, but what I'm seeing in the industry.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things specifically, humor sells all the time. And
Mm,
if you don't have some type of humor in your store, you're really missing out. And I think, especially heading into an election year, having plenty items on hand to provide some comic relief is going to be a very good thing. And a way to just distract your customers from having those conversations, perhaps.
yeah.
And so, but actually, 28% of store owners are going to buy more humor products in
Okay.
2024.
Yeah.
A fabulous new line, stores should check out if they haven't already. And if they read GiftBeat, I'm sure they have, because it's called Drinks on Me. Drinks on Me.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's a couple in their 50s that created this line, and the humor is just crazy. I seen a comment, we missed the top categories. Don't worry, I have a PDF document that we're
Yep.
going to share with everybody
And you will
afterwards.
get a
So,
recording of this, so you could go back and watch that. Yeah, absolutely. No problem,
yeah.
Lauren.
So Drinks on Me, they debuted at market like a year or so ago, maybe 18 months ago, and they were almost immediately on our charts for their coasters.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't happen very often, I'm gonna say. So you've got a really good line when you see it, like Squishmallows was like boom
Yes.
automatically. Um, so but they've since expanded the line to include napkins, and I'm not sure if tea towels as well. But and the last time we charted for humor and whimsy, which is another category, they were the number one
Wow.
supplier. Yeah, I know. So that was based on retail sales from this past October. But some of and I'm going to share these charts with you guys too in the PDF, but we can chat about some of the companies that are always on the humor and whimsy chart. Primitives by Kathy is one. Blue Q is the only sock vendor that's ever on the humor and whimsy chart. So I have to think their socks are the funniest.
Yeah, that's indications. Yeah.
Those are kind of always the standards on that. Okay, another thing I want to talk about, gourmet food. Gourmet food has taken the gift industry by storm in the past 5 years. That and drink mixes.
Yes. Oh, yes.
But I can remember, again, 10, 15. I've been editing magazines for this industry for 25 years. So I started when I was 16. No. And I did start when I was very young. So I kind of lose track of time. But I remember gourmet food always being this huge debate. And reasons, I try it doesn't work for me. There's so much hesitation around sampling. They didn't want to sample for fear of it contaminating soft goods like pillows and tablecloths and such, or for fear of like health and safety rules, that they weren't going to be following the local health and safety. But once they figured out that sampling was the key to gourmet food sales, then it just sells like snot. And some fun lines, going back to drink mixes, because we're going to start tracking this as a separate category just because it's blown up. But some of the fun ones I seen at market that I really loved, that really spoke to me. One was Southern Spirit Home, a lovely mom that has created this line. And she told me once they all drop their kids off at school, they go and back and start making their cocktail mixes in this little, and it's just great packaging. Great idea. And theirs is the idea where it's like, a glass bottle with different dried items in it. And you would pour the alcohol and let it sit.
Yeah, I saw them at market. It was they had a really great presence there. Yeah.
Yes, they did. And really sweet people. And the other line was D Marie. So D apostrophe Marie. And they're all slush mixes that are so good, but they also sell the slushy machines. And I thought, if that fits for your store, what a great, experience for your customers, that it's kind of always going and you can always be sampling and selling. And I think, adding new consumable lines, which excite customers and which keep them coming back in time and time again, is the only way to maintain foot traffic, especially during slower periods, right? But priced right and sampled, gourmet food is also an impulse item. Yes. So it's another really great way to increase your average sale. So the last time we tracked this category was in spring, and we pulled it as candy and gourmet food. Again, this is a category that I inherited. And as I looked at it, I realized it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Candy and gourmet food are not necessarily the same thing.
No.
Yeah.
I think they probably were 15 years ago when retailers really weren't carrying a lot of it. So
you could have gourmet candy we're
definitely going to separate it. And then we're doing drink mixes, and then we're going to be starting tracking coffee and coffee related and tea related. So, but my advice to retailers who on the call who haven't carried gourmet before, if you're looking for a line, is most rep groups now have a gourmet line or two in the mix. So talk to your favorite rep and see what they have to offer, and ask them what other stores are doing and how other retail accounts are sampling and demoing the items. I thought it was really fun at market. A lot of the gourmet food lines, the vessels they were using, if they weren't selling them, they were providing retailers with the contact information on where to get them. And I love that. Yeah, that they were going above and beyond. A fun line that I came across was called Davis and Davis.
Okay.
And they have pretzel and cracker seasonings. So you can just like a super easy way to like make mini pretzels and mini saltine crackers, like a little gourmet snack. Another category, especially because we're talking, going into the winter sort of months, that I want to talk about socks, slippers, and loungewear. So all the comfy things, and comfort has been a category that's been very big. So 'tis the season to sell this, whether, because customers today, not me, I wear really ratty stuff. So if anybody out there sells stuff, they can send it to me. But they want to be comfortable and fashionable when they're at home, right? So we chart socks as a separate category, and the number one supplier is always World's Softest Socks, which
Okay.
aren't print or novelty, but crew socks. And all the styles are created by Cynthia Dowd. And recently, the company charted as the number one fashion accessories line too,
Oh,
which they were really pleased about. In the novelty sock category, sorry, Blue Q, we mentioned before, Hot Socks, Primitives by Kathy, and Socksmith are
the top. Yeah.
constants
Yeah.
over the years, and others will come and go. And the area of comfy slippers, Always Snoozies, and Opportunities has been ranking the last few years for their Sherpa socks.
Okay.
E&S is another line that charts frequently, but they mostly are only do pet socks, I think. And Barefoot Dreams is a newcomer to the charts in this area.
Yeah.
And yeah, the line is exquisite, and it comes with a higher price tag. They were the fourth best-selling sock line based on October 2023 sales, so it obviously has great sell-through.
Okay. Yeah. So even that higher price point, it's not deterring. Yeah, and I saw them at market as well. That's, yeah, it seems like a really good line.
Yeah, and I think they're pretty choosy about where they put it too. So it's not going to be a line that you're going to have to worry about your competitor also having. Within this category, we do spa related, and DM always tops, because I
Okay.
think a lot of the items they offer, like satin pillowcases, eye masks, very reasonable prices. Intellects or people know them as warmies for
Oh
their
yeah.
eye
Yep.
masks. Yeah, for their eye masks and their neck wraps. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to share. Oh yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about is register area or impulse items.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So while not necessarily a hot category, I think it's a super important category for retailers to be focusing on,
Where you can
because
build a lot of margin there. You can, yeah, they're really important to that right in your register. Yeah.
yeah. So we don't chart this frequently, but when we do, there's some suppliers who are always on the list, like Gans for their pocket charms. If you haven't seen their assortment, it's insane. I don't even know how many they have, but it's a lot, and they're adorable. They're all different shapes, and they come with little sentiments and stuff. Silver Forest, their earrings always chart. They've been the top selling earring line among our reporting stores for as long as I can remember. Abdallah Candies is a line that sells really well for independent retailers. Center Court for their affordable jewelry.
Okay.
E. Newton bracelets ranked in register area. Fallow, Fahlo. I started hearing about these through the reporting stores a year or so ago, and I contacted the company, and they said they weren't really interested in selling to wholesale. They were concentrating more on direct to consumer. So she didn't want coverage in GiftBeat. And I was like, okay. But now I see they were at market with some sort of stuffed animal that you track.
Okay. Yeah.
So
But yeah, so they're diving into wholesale. So yeah.
yeah. Well, I think, and I had this conversation with a few brands, and really the only way to maintain a brand is to also have that wholesale presence, that in-store presence, right? Like just trying to do it direct to consumer. I'm not going to mention company
Hard.
names. So yeah, it hasn't been successful for the people that have tried to go to market that way. And if you're a vendor who's on the call listening, and you're a new vendor too, be choosy about what your channel distribution strategy is going to be. I walk the temps in Atlanta, and I always ask, who are you selling to? Who's your target customer? Because I don't want to put something in GiftBeat if it's going to be available at Walmart or Target or Amazon or etc.
Right.
And they're like, we don't know whoever buys from us. And I'm like, okay.
Should have a strategy with that, right?
And I happen to be walking the market with the president of Nora Fleming. I'm like, this is the person you want to talk to about strategy, channel strategy, because
Right.
this is a company that has only ever sold through independents, and look at how phenomenally successful they are.
Absolutely.
They
Yeah.
do have direct to consumer, but they've never done the Target route. They've never done the mass route. They've never done an off-price collection for somebody else. They've stayed true to the independents, and the independents stay true to that, to those brands.
And the big boxes, it can be fantastic and lucrative, but it might be a one time. And then, I mean, the independents going that channel, working with your independent retailers. I mean, it's loyalty.
I
There's a lot
see
of loyalty.
vendors face those big dollars all the time, and it's like almost like it's like a big ego thing for them. Oh, we gotta purchase with so and so. Okay, well, how much margin did you get on that?
Right.
How much time are you going to spend servicing that account? How many independent retailers did you tick off because you put that line off price somewhere? Those are all considerations that don't factor in. Like one of the for those on the call not aware of the Gift and Home Trade Association, it also works with a credit interchange group called GAIN, who specifically tracks receivables and stuff from gift through the gift industry. And about 2 years ago, they indicated, even with the rise of Amazon and everything else, 80% of product moving through the market is through independent retail channels.
It's incredible. That's 80%.
That has always stuck with me, and it's something that vendors should be cognizant of for sure. I see a lot of them, wanting to do everything, and it's like, just pick a lane.
Yep. And I've in my talking with retailers, I mean, there are those that like we've been loyal to them, we've helped them really get their foundation, and now I see them at a big box. And I'm not gonna buy from that anymore. If my customer can go to Target or Walmart or whatever and buy that, then what makes me special? That really should be.
And a lot of brands will be like, oh well, but if we're in Target, we're building the brand awareness. Yeah, okay. Did you talk to the independents before you came up with that line to make sure they felt the same way? I mean,
and it's then you're kind of taking away what a unique find, and that's what's so great about going to independent retailers is finding that unique product and something that you can't see everywhere, and really that discovery process as you're going throughout the store and seeing these different things. So
but not only that, but how independent retailers are so smart at merchandising, cross merchandising, storytelling. But to your point about products, and that really is a good segue into our next thing that we wanted to talk about, which was trends and fave finds from market. So I tried to do, for me personally, Atlanta is the best market because it has all the vendors there.
Sure.
And my time is limited because I've got a monthly publication and I have a quarterly publication for Canadian independent retailers. And I'm a solopreneur. I'm a small business owner, just like the independent retailers that I write for. So I have your same pain points. I'm my IT person. I do my own accounting. So I do Atlanta.
Yeah. If you have to choose one, go to where everybody is.
I would love to be to Vegas, okay? But I love
Vegas
live music, and I can't drive myself away from the live music to attend the show. So it's like, that's why I don't have a Sam's Club membership, because I would just spend $400 on candy. So you just have to know your limits. It would
come in one gigantic bag, right? You'd get all of that all at once.
It would all be gone. It's just be so bad. But so I normally do 4 days in Atlanta, and I need to do 6 days now. And even then, I'm not going to be able to cover all the showrooms, all the temps. I didn't even get anywhere close to what I wanted to see.
And I mean, Atlanta was, it was busy. It was so great seeing that. It was like a pre-COVID. It was like a 2019. It was amazing just seeing how many retailers were there, the buzzing in the hallways. So, it was so much fun. So hopefully our retailers got to experience a market, whether it's Atlanta or Dallas, or if you're going to Vegas, the really good energy at the shows.
But I put that down too, because I've been, coming from for 25 years. Wasn't the retailers in attendance. The vendors came to market with new product.
Good. Yeah.
Everywhere. So I was doing these fun little fave finds. If I found an item that I liked, I tagged it with this little fave find. And so sort of an indication to my readers that, hey, I checked this product out. I looked at the saleability. I talked to the person behind the line. I think this is a good pick to look further. And then we did 10. I did post it 10 a day. So if you're not following my Instagram, hop on there and you can see what we selected. and I just picked so many fave finds. I was just so excited every day at market. I'd get there at 9 o'clock. I'd close market out at like 7 o'clock. And it was insane. It was so much fun. But I was really looking for, where before I've gone more like trend scouting. And so to me, that's a different market experience because your eyes are kind of more open and you're looking at things a lot broader. But when
Sure.
you're looking at market for product, that you're really, zeroing and looking at products. So I wasn't really thinking about trend overall because for my readers, it's more about product, like what
Right.
specific product line. And so, but saying that, okay, the cowboy theme,
Mm,
cowboy boot silhouette, like this is going to be around for a long, long time to come. This trend is just starting and it's got legs. And I
have
think
fun
it's,
there.
outside of Texas, outside of the
Yeah.
South, I mean, we're seeing it everywhere, whether it's because of Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
what have you.
But
It's
also
everywhere.
popular west in the Plains territory. And
But
it
like
can
I'm
be
also
kind of a,
seeing it in New York.
yeah,
So,
okay. Yeah. So that, I mean, yeah,
it's
there's very few areas where that really doesn't or can't work. But yeah, if you're even seeing it in New York, Northeast, I mean, that's great. It's some kind of almost universal trend like that.
yeah, it's almost like so I think I didn't see any gnomes. They're fine. They're so cute, but they're done.
But gnomes are, yes,
They're
they
done.
had their run.
But I've seen some adorable Christmas themed cowboy boots from
Okay.
Gans, like little ornaments that were so cute. I love miniature things. I get sucked in by miniature things all the time. Um, Patty Wax had these adorable cowboy boot shaped match holders.
Oh, fun.
So
Yeah.
that was really fun. But I'm seeing it across so many categories, like from apparel, drinkware, stationery, jewelry. So it's really everywhere. I think sentiment is still so strong,
Absolutely. Yep.
whether it's in jewelry, whether it's bereavement. Karen, Caren,
Mm,
I thought was brilliant, soap sponges, those
yes.
sponges infused with soap that have been selling so well. She came up with the idea to put sentiments on the outside of them so you could gift them like nurse, teacher, mom, friend. And I thought, oh, that's, a really great idea. And then they also had really other ones that had high heels on them and different, fun things like that. Stationery was a focus in a lot of the showrooms. I came across this incredible pen bar from So Darling from Mary Square. I have a picture of it here, but this pen bar, okay, I think you can turn this thing like 3 times on your cash register. So it's the cutest little pen sets. You can color block them. They're $275 wholesale, so you can retail them for
Yeah.
$90.99 minimum. So it's great margin. And I think this like whole bar thing, like I'm like, oh, I actually want that whole bar on my desk. And then I go to another booth and they'd have like a hoop bar. And I'm like, I want that whole hoop bar too. So I can't be the only one thinking this. So you might have customers that might be interested in buying the whole thing,
That's really nice.
putting it
Yeah.
out there, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Couple of
not sure if
comments that are coming in. Let's see. Kim said that she loved seeing your tags at market, which is awesome. Amber Marie, I believe it was about the cute sayings with Karen, and then they also wrote the pens.
yeah,
So some great items there.
yeah. Another line, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Denik or Denik, Denik,
Okay.
but they were like an honorable mention on our stationery chart, and then they jumped right up onto the chart. So I went to check them out and I looked into their story. And it's really interesting. They're an American company, but they work with artisans from all over the world. And it's really like easy entry points for artisans. So it's like, you could be a youth basketball player or something like that and have some cool artwork and
Oh
they'll
wow.
work with you. And
Yeah.
they also give a lot of their proceeds back to building schools. They've built 7 schools so far, I think.
A
And
good give back cause, market cause company. Yeah, to bring in. Very cool.
yeah, and another cool line, you don't often see male artist driven lines in the industry. There's a lot of
Fair. Yeah.
female. So Taylor Palladino is a Texas artist. And he had this great calendar desk set. Not only was it beautiful idea, but it came in a box. And each month you could either send that to a friend because this is a beautiful illustration. But the feedback he was getting was that people were writing on the back of it their memories of that month. and putting in the envelope, maybe a ticket stub from a movie theater or
Oh, yeah.
pictures they took, and then they put it back into the box and became a keepsake for the entire year. What a brilliant idea.
That's really fun. Yeah.
What a brilliant idea. Moving away from stationery and just going into like general lines, if you haven't already checked out the Darling Effect,
Mm.
that is such a fun female-led company. Is totally on fire in terms of they know the patterns. Like at Last Market, their pickleball collection was on fire. Like, so they were one of the first to like design really great pickleball holders,
Wow.
jewelry to match it, and now they just come out with just great SKUs and great patterns. And they tripled their footprint in Atlanta this season. The place was buzzing all day. I just told you what a sucker I am for miniature items. So they have these miniature insulated drinking glasses that are
Okay.
going like crazy. And apparently she's going to come up with like mini espresso ones
Miniatures are
too.
cute. People love those. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I
And
know
they
the
also
smoke
had
the fire.
great add-ons for insulated drinkware, and that was something I didn't touch on. I think like people are accessorizing their insulated drinkware with the wallet cases that go around them. But then they also had like these cute things you could put on the top to customize, and then they had these rubber bases that you could put on the bottom to customize your tumblers too, which was really cute. Katie Did is another line, a female designer. I'm going to kind of compare her to Darling Effect in terms of the breadth of categories that she carries, but she's more heavy into apparel. I think she really started like maybe with ball caps, but she's really found her groove. She really gets what gift retailers want, what sells. She has great quilted puffer bags at Market, which are really, really trendy. Great cell phone accessories. Saw so many, I don't know how, I'm going to go really quick through the lessons, but I saw so many great artist-led collections at Market, which are really
Yep.
fun. And I think when you can talk to your customers and you actually have met the artist
I
and
think that's, yeah.
I think that's great. So Happy by Rachel Walker Art. If you didn't check that out, check it out. She has a Risen from the Ashes story, which is
Oh,
such an American comeback story. It's her and her husband doing this line. The artwork is incredible. She's already signed on with Swig.
oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a lot of state theme collections. And DK Designs out of Georgia was another great, really different looking illustrations that I saw. I seen she's just signed on with some sororities
Okay.
to do their artwork. Another one I saw was the Wanderers collection from One Brilliant Gifts, and they've kind of taken the spoof off the Starbucks mugs, which I collect. So in addition to miniatures, I collect a lot of stuff too. And
You just have to know the market. You have to
yeah.
experience it all.
But when you travel somewhere, it's just kind of fun to pick up a Starbucks mug with the illustrations on it. Does
Oh,
everyone know
absolutely.
what
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about? So they came up with the same concept, but they're like customizing it for retailers. And you could do like, so they'll send you these are our ideas, and you're like, no, I want you to put in this building or this street or
Oh,
this
wow.
fair or this whatever. And it's so good. And it's a husband, wife, and daughter team.
I get local products like that everywhere I
Yeah.
go. I try and pick up a sticker because my coffee mug area
There you
has
go.
already been too big. I had to purge some of that, but to get a sticker, but local items, things like that, I think I've seen that really take off in
Yeah.
retail
And
stores.
stickers, we're going to start tracking that too. I think we're going
All
to be
right,
tracking
good.
100 categories by the time we're done. But two fun men's gifts I want to point out because it's super hard to find good men's gifts. But Thousand Oak Barrel Co., which if you didn't go into the Dugan and Bliss showroom, you wouldn't have seen. And Dugan Bliss carries a lot of gourmet. But there's this great paint can gift set. So like it's a paint can and you actually have to open it with like, they give you a tool to open it. Don't ask me what tool. And you have like moonshine making kits and whiskey
Wow.
making kits and this great stuff. And then the other thing I saw from Madman was these whiskey, the whiskey cubes, but they've done them in shapes now and they have like bullets and
Oh,
they
okay.
have footballs and they have baseballs and stuff. So I think those would be really, really good men's gifts as well. So let's
Absolutely.
leave some time for question and answer.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for providing that. I mean, there's so many things I picked up on. I do not have the eye that you do, but I saw florals and bright colors kind of
Oh,
really everywhere. That seemed to be really, really popular
I
items.
must say, like, I have mad respect for my colleagues in the States, Lenice at Gifts and Deck
Yeah,
and Carly at Gift Shop. And we come from different generations. So I like to say when the three of us get together, it's like a generational powerhouse because
sure.
we'll see different things, right? Because we're at different ages and stages of life, right? And Lenice was saying, yeah, hydrangeas everywhere,
Yeah,
florals
I saw her article,
everywhere.
yeah, about hydrangeas. But yeah, just yeah, in my I just saw florals. Yeah, so probably yeah,
Yeah.
hydrangeas, and I
I
think she had
think
another about
florals
poppies and
are a constant in this market
right.
though.
Yeah.
I just see them all
Yeah.
the time, whether it's tabletop or like especially Michelle Design Works,
Mm, their
packaging is so
packaging,
floral
yeah,
heavy
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we will open up to some questions. You can toss them in the Q&A or put them in the chat. We can see them both. Quickly, as people are typing in, Erica, how can people find GiftBeat or
Oh
how can
yeah.
they subscribe to GiftBeat?
I didn't mention that. So they can go to giftbeat.com and follow our socials from there. And if you want to subscribe, go right ahead. But if you're not quite sure what GiftBeat's all about, we have a free insights, and that's through a platform called Substack. And we send out posts every other day, and I try to. And there'll just be like one chart that we're talking about, and people can decide if they want to just subscribe for a month to see that chart or not subscribe at all and just get our free post or whatever. And the fun thing is, if you subscribe for a year, you can gift 1 month free subscriptions to your friends.
Oh, great. Good.
Yeah,
So you could send that out to your friends, the other retailers that
yeah.
don't know about GiftBeat. Susan asked, "Is this being recorded?" Yes, it is. If you've been, everyone that's registered will get a copy of the recording, so you'll get that later today. Um, Questions out there. I mean, I think you gave so much information. But you will be sending out the PDF of that has some of the data that you talked about today. But
Not everything. Some of the I
sure.
scribbled some last minute notes. So
Okay. Yeah.
if any, I did put my email on the end of the PDF.
Perfect.
So if anybody has a question, says you mentioned something, but I don't see it in the notes, just feel free to email me, and I do my best to get back to everybody within 48 hours.
Yeah.
So, but if nobody has any questions, another line we could just chat before
Yeah. Absolutely.
another thing comes up. But or if you have questions for me, I'll stop talking. You can ask
No. I
me.
mean, yeah. If you had some other info that you wanted to share.
Well, Junk Gypsy, I think, was a really fun line. I don't know if you're familiar with Junk Gypsy, but she had a show
Sorry.
on. Did you see it?
Oh, I saw them at the show and I looked them up afterward. I was confused if they were the same that had the television
Yes.
show and have their own. Okay. So they're based
Yeah.
out of Texas, right?
Yep. So they
Yes. Okay.
have their own store, and she has her own store, and she was on HGTV, and she's come to market with the help of one of our industry's most well-known um, vendors, um, George Kasich, with the wholesale line. And so she's taken her style, which is so unique, and applied it across to a ton of different product categories and really great prices. So I thought that was really fun. I don't know how many out there are familiar with the fancy pans
Mm.
that make so you can put the casserole in it and make tailgating and picnicking really fun. Well, they came up with like a brilliant like line extension that they should have thought of ages ago, which was a picnic tote to carry these things around easily in. So that was a fun line extension that I saw that I thought was
Better
really
late
good.
than never. They
Yeah,
developed it.
exactly.
It's there now. Yeah.
Yeah. There is another line on the market. I can't remember what it's called, but a similar line. So if you don't have fancy pans, but you want, until they went to Walmart. There they go. Okay, so there's another line. Go on Dugan Bliss website. And apparently this line was first to market. And she actually has a picnic tote as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I email me too if you don't know Dugan Bliss or
But it'll
can't find
be
it.
there. That line is on their website. Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing.
Okay, good. So Amber
Yeah.
Marie, if you're looking for a replacement there, yeah, find another.
Yeah. Did I go through everything?
Yeah. When we were talking, I was at Dallas and Atlanta. We tried to do some interviews with retailers, try to just see what was, their big new things for them, and a little bit different from the product side, but they were talking a lot about customer experiences, which goes, I think, into some of the things that you were talking about earlier of really making that experience, having the taste testings, but the social media walls, the really kind of creating that experience for the customer to be able to come in and
Yeah.
do something in your store. So
And we have an article coming up in our February issue about using scent in retail. And there was a really
hmm,
great line at market in the Roadrunners booth. I can't remember the name of it now. They're going to shoot me. And but she has created these diffusers so you can actually create your own custom scent in your store and diffuse it,
ooh, I
like
love that.
hotels do, right? Isn't that a
Yeah,
great idea? And so I think when it's about creating experience, it starts with your branding. It starts outside of your store. It starts in your window, and then when they come in, the experience doesn't necessarily have to be that you've got topless dancers running around.
right.
It's that your store is playing great music and it smells great, and you've got beautiful displays, and your staff is engaging with customers. That in itself is an experience.
You
What
feel
you're just
welcomed in, you feel like you're, wanted to be there as opposed to someone kind of glaring at you as you walk in. Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely part of the experience.
Yeah, and how independent retailers display their goods is definitely part of the experience. It's not what you get when you enter a big box and you're a grid layout, or is that what it's called? No, that's not a grid layout, whatever that's called. Racetrack? I can't remember. But if you actually want to document on good store layouts, I have this great piece from a merchandiser who showed me a 9 square grid, and you can basically put it over top of your space, and it shows you where you should put your best selling categories, your
Oh,
least selling categories, and you kind of move it around depending on where your entry door is. It's so cool.
oh, interesting. Yeah. And
Yeah,
be able to kind of divide that up. And if you kind of have your focal points throughout, it'll attract
exactly.
people to go through and
Exactly. Yeah.
interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, and it's all like scientific because we know they turn right when they
Right.
enter, and so
Just such a weird thing. I've noticed myself more and more. I'm like, I want to go left, but it just you're naturally pulled to the right. Uh,
yeah. I wonder if left-handed people are the same.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why it is right. If it's because we read, we read right to left. I don't know. Maybe in Japan because they read left to right. They
If anyone knows, has data on that or experiences of any lefties, let us know. But uh, doesn't look on. Let's see. I'm going to check our Q&A section
no.
just in case. But
Everybody always has questions. Oh, we
we're a
are right-handed
right-handed
side. I think
society.
I
Yeah.
read some of the crazy. There's I think 20% of people are left-handed. I guess that still
Yep.
makes us
Oh,
predominantly a
yeah.
right-handed society. Yeah.
Erica, thank you so much for being on today. This was incredible learning what you see, what data is telling you about what's going on in the market, what retailers are buying. I loved hearing about your picks and things that you're seeing throughout the market, and just different trends that you're noticing. So thank you so much for being on today. I know our retailers got a lot out of this. Hopefully, a lot of great brands that they can go look in and really have some wonderful items to bring into their store.
Well, thank you for having me. And I just want to say that I love this industry with my heart and my soul. And I do what I do because I just have such a love and respect for the industry. And I'm all about giving back. I'm all about lifting people up, just trying to help as many people as I can. I think that's the only way that we can live. And so if anybody ever needs anything, or feel free to email me at any time, and I'm more than happy to help.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate the work and effort that you put into helping out retailers and empowering them to make sure they're making good buying decisions, that they can be as successful as possible. So thank you. A quick plug for our next webinar, which we are going to have at the end of February. It will be with Kathy Donovan Wagner, the retail maven. We're going to be talking about increasing profits in your store. So incredibly important topic. Kathy is a highly accredited retail consultant with years of experience with independent retail. She's been helping independent retailers improve their finances within their business for over 2 decades. So she's going to be talking about how not just to get people in your door, but also driving profits off of that. So a really great webinar. Hope to see you all there. You can register for that at heartonmainstreet.org. And again, Erica, thank you so much for being a part of this today. Thank you all so much, and take care, everybody. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you.
Bye.